showing tonight.
Well, you're just in time. Check out our feature presentation. Year after year, novel after novel, Zane Grey made a name for himself weaving cowboy tales. Many of those books written here and set in the Rim Country. This was his inspiration. Now, fans of the legendary author are coming here as well as coming down with a special case of cabin fever. Hitching up the horses, it's not a scene you see much of along Payson's Main Street. But this is no ordinary hitching post. Welcome to the Zane Grey cabin.
We did it as a tourist attraction, and we did it because we wanted a place to house the historic artifacts of Zane Grey and take advantage of his name, which is still magical worldwide.
This replica stands as a tribute to a man often called the father of the Western novel, a writer who felt a strong connection to Arizona.
Well, this was one of the first states he visited when he came out west from New York. He was a dentist back in New York, and he wanted to see the West. He'd never been out here, and he came to Arizona first, up in Flagstaff, and he fell in love with the state.
In 1921, Zane Grey built his cabin high in the pines outside of Payson.
If you ever see that spot out there, you'll know why he built it. It's the most beautiful view. After he built his cabin, he was here every fall during the hunting season. Clear up until 1929. So he spent quite a few years here. He wrote 64 novels in total, but 23 of them were about Arizona. That shows how much he cared about this place.
But in 1929, the author had a disagreement with the state's Game and Fish Department over a documentary he wanted to film.
He got very angry. He did have a short temper. And he left Arizona and vowed never to return, and he never did.
The original cabin fell into disrepair until a Valley businessman bought the property and restored it.
They were attracting about 20,000 people a year to that cabin up in the backwoods. That was back in 1990.
It was also in 1990 when flames from the Dude Fire destroyed the cabin.
All that's left is one pier, foundation pier, and the pump, water pump, and that's it.
With so little left standing, Dick Wolf and his team turned to old pictures to recreate the cabin you see today.
We did have a couple sets of plans, and we integrated those, but mainly it was built from photographs. We made a search for exterior photographs of the cabin, came up with well over 100.
Getting the cabin's interior right, that was a little tricky. The crew really only had this one photograph to work from.
There's a gentleman standing at the fireplace. That's Romer Grey. That's Zane Grey's oldest son. And the lady kneeling down painting the Indian signs on the fireplace is Lillian Wilhelm Smith. She was related to Zane Grey's wife, Dolly. And then the other lady sitting at the table typing a manuscript was one of the traveling secretaries that went with Zane. He wrote almost constantly. And he always wrote in longhand, sitting at a thing called a Morris chair, which some of us old-timers remember. The piano is original. The saddle over by the front door is original.
Zane Grey died in 1939. But if this cabin is any indication, his legacy remains strong in Rim Country.
People can drive out and see these spots that they read about.
Next day, we rode from Natural Bridge to Payson in 4.5 hours. Tales of Lonely Trails, Zane Grey, 1918.
Zane Grey was very descriptive in his writing. And if you lived here for any length of time, you can read his book, and all of a sudden dawns on you, I know exactly what he's talking about, where he's talking about.
She felt strong and eager to pursue the beeline to its end. Only by such efforts as this could she see the wonderful country or learn something about the forest land. Under the Tonto Rim, Zane Grey, 1925.